Hello, my friends. I know I've gone missing for a few days. Doesn't mean anything is wrong. I'm going to be going missing for a few days, regularly now. Intentionally, I'm spending less time online while trying to stay connected to those of you that I correspond with and continue to do these vlogs, but not on a daily basis, and the Tower Together and YouTube challenge videos. So I'm setting myself at that as a goal that I want to meet. But I'm backing off of things like Facebook and how often I do vlogs, things like that. For several reasons. As you all know, more and more I'm getting involved in local things at the face-to-face level, and which is never going to supplant the beauty of the relationships I have with friends online. So it's not about that. It's about a balance of the two. And several hours a day on the computer isn't going to be a balance. And it's also about the fact that I need massive blocks of time in order to continue editing the Season of the Seeker Elemental Balancing book. I knew it wasn't going to be fun. It was going to be onerous work. The creation of it for Season of the Seeker was not. It was a joy. But trying to self-edit and go through the rigmarole of self-publishing, which is not as easy as you might think it is. I need time, and I need devoted blocks of time, not time here and there. So it's all for good reasons. I do plan to be here regularly, and will be still hitting my vlogs the same way with the tiny moments and the whatevers. But don't worry if you don't see me. And in fact, I'm feeling really good at this point. Got no complaints whatsoever. So I wanted to give you that update. And those of you that I communicate with, a little off center here, online, I won't be vanishing from there. This isn't about going offline. It's about spending less time online. I know a lot of you have been faced with making similar decisions. Plus, it's the call of the wild. It's about going outside and not being inside and not connected to a computer. And if you follow my vlogs, you know that I don't have a smartphone, don't want a smartphone. So if I am away from the computer, I am truly away from any connection outside. So today I went to the second in the series on what comes next. It was on reincarnation, which I was really looking forward to. And it ended up not being so interesting. They said I was going to focus on the Tibetan Book of the Dead, which it only quoted in passing, so I didn't get to learn much about that, so I'll just go online and learn it for myself. And the person who was presenting it, a man, by the way, that I adore, was presenting it from what he has decided is about reincarnation. So it wasn't the conversation I would have wanted to see, which is different folks' take on it, different religions' take on it. So this particular one, where last week's was amazing, and I am looking forward to next week's, which focuses on the once and done, what come next versions. This one just, I guess I had high expectations for it. So I did get to talk to some people afterwards that I've become particular friends with, where we shared our thoughts on what it might be. And I thought you might be interested that my contribution to that was, once I learned to go deep into meditation, and I had been taught by my mentors that we would have guides, and of course the presence of our gods, as part of that out-of-body exploration. And I was told to search for them and to see who was supporting me in the ether. And my guides, indeed, I came to know well. And my gods, I always feel present, whether in the physical world or traveling. And then there came a time when I was aware there was another presence that was attending me when I was traveling. And it didn't bother me at first because, of course, that whole experience is mysterious and you encounter lots of things you're not familiar with. And this presence never did anything to make me uncomfortable. The feeling that it was constantly there without making contact became stressful for me. So much so that I thought, I'm just going to stop the traveling. I almost felt like there was a voyeur who watched everything I did, but didn't participate or communicate. So one day I announced to it that, thanks to you, I'll probably stop this kind of journeying. I don't know who or what you are. I don't need any silent and mysterious watchers in my life. So your presence has made me uncomfortable. And if your intentions are good, I want you to know how you've made me feel. So it was a time or two later when I was in meditation, and it was the first time I had any communication from whatever this was. And it was an entity who announced their self. And I heard it in a feminine voice. In fact, I heard it in my own voice. Tell me that there was nothing to fear, that she was the representation of all I would become. And then she gave me a very cryptic message at that first contact, which said, live your lives well for all of us. And I took it at the time to mean, well, that was my wiser self or my future self or my soul that I was having the conversation with. I could understand why it would say, live your lives well. But I wasn't sure what the for all of us meant. For both of us I could see, but not the for all of us. And then what happened, because I'd lost my fear, I didn't really say fear, just discomfort with the presence of that entity, it seemed like a relationship started growing. And as the relationship grew, I no longer heard my voice. I no longer heard a voice that I could either identify as male or female, to tell you the truth. That didn't bother me because I already had come to a comfort of having that entity be near me. And then I learned through the time spent communicating that when it said, live your lives for all of us, it ended up being that it was giving me the first taste of what that mystery was. Indeed, it was me, but a collective me. The part of me that would rejoin it and mix and mingles with the other souls in my group soul. I had, after that, took a course on reincarnation that was excellent at a nearby university, where I actually, for the first time, heard in a discussion, it was a very detailed discussion, the potential of a group of souls. There are certain groups, literally, of souls that are the master soul, that when we pass over, there are some parts of us that rejoin that, especially taking our wisdom back to the collective. It sounds very Borg-like, doesn't it? And then there's a mixing and mingling and a resending out into the next life of that experience of unified soul. It resonated deeply for me. One of the reasons is I never met anybody face to face that I would say was a soulmate or part of a group soul or anything like that. But I had met two people online. Excuse me. Allergies. It is currently high season for allergies from the pine trees. Well, surrounded by them, we sneeze a lot. So anyway, what I was saying is, well, if in person I'd not met anyone that I could say felt like they're part of some group soul for me, I have met two people online that we kind of knew we were connected somehow. And for me, it feels like we're part of the same group soul. Would never have met either one of them if it weren't for the cyber world, which is interesting to consider. What force guided us to find each other, and the two of them have come to find each other too, in the whole wide world out there online. I have to say that the more time has gone by, the more this concept of group soul has felt right for me. I also think that it might be a situation where what we believe is what happens, and if we believe that we are not reincarnated, we won't be, and that we have different individual thoughts on what reincarnation might be or the purpose of having multiple lives. I think that there are different realities, and I'm very sure that mine includes this concept of group soul. I have a massive ego in the here and now, and for me to embrace the idea of group soul was huge because it means I'm acknowledging that the entity I know as me will not continue as itself. It'll be mixed and mingled in with others in my group soul. And while I will continue to exist in some way, not as what I conceive of as me, that's where I ended up on reincarnation. And all of which I know is just a story that I tell myself, and it adds to the curiosity about what will happen when I pass, which will be something I'll discover only when I pass. So that is the update from today's class on reincarnation. The next time I'm looking forward to the once and done review. So I hope it is as powerful as the first experience was for me. What I have to share for you in the way of tiny moments is I decided to take the camera with me when Ernie and I went walking. And I'm getting into the habit of making sure that it happens every day. I'm trying to be much better about my health and making some changes. And Ernie likes to walk with me, so that's a good thing. I've got the company. So I took him for a walk and took you along with us. And what I tried to do is, excuse my glasses, I'm looking at the pictures that I've downloaded to remind myself, because it was yesterday or the day before yesterday. Either way, I wasn't sure if I remembered what pictures I had taken of. So there are some tiny moments in there. And then what I tried to do is I tried to take a picture for you each with stops along my walk. I walk from bench to bench. I'm going to be honest with that. A little problem walking for longer than 15 or 20 minutes without stopping. So I tried to get pictures, which I did for 3/4 of my walk, of the places that I stop, and give you an idea of some of the things I see just walking around the neighborhood. I didn't get those pictures the last quarter or so of my journey because the little guy that I'm going to insert the picture of here was discovered along the way. I was walking up the hill from the bay, and I thought I saw an interesting looking stone. Well, you know me. If there's an interesting stone, I'm going to pick it up and bring it home. But I realized when I got close to him that it was a little turtle. And I thought, oh my gosh, he's dead. He wasn't moving. There was nothing around to bother him, but he was laying there he wasn't moving. So I picked him up to look at him, and he moved, and he put his little head out and looked at me. But very lethargic, very slow moving. And a friend was coming down the hill at the time and stopped to talk to me, and I showed him what I had, and he said, it's been a bad year for the turtles because it's not unusual for them to walk uphill and get run over by cars and golf carts because there's so many of the fledgling turtles this time of year. But what's happened is we have had temperatures go down below freezing, record-breaking temperatures in the low range for where we live. And because of that, these little guys, once they're out of the water, or once they were hatched and trying to get to the water, they were freezing to death too. So our friends said, well, put him in your pocket and take him home and put him in a box and keep him for a few days until these freezing times pass. So in the meantime, I met another friend and showed him to them, and they had also been rescuing turtles. We decided that they rescued a different kind of turtle. We don't know what theirs were, but mine is most definitely, and Roger's named him Tommy, the turtle. He is most definitely a snapping turtle. Giveaway is the shape of his feet and the spikes on his little back and his long tail. So I brought him home, and he's in a box, and then I did some research this morning. The thing is, even being warmed in my pocket on the way home, he was like running all around my pocket. He needed to be warmed. He really did. And he's doing okay now. But I read that these little guys will do fine in freezing temperatures as long as they're in the water at this time of year, because their instincts are true to tell them to dive deeper into the water. So we had some conversations, and Roger and I, on the way out for dinner tonight, found a local pond that we feel will be a safe place to put him. So we're going to take him out there and set him free. So Tommy will be paddling off into the sunset. But it was a cute thing to experience. He's an adorable little tyke. He really, really is. Snapping turtles are very common here. In fact, the local Native American tribe which I have currently forgotten the name of. What's the name of the Native American tribe here, hon?
Excuse me?
What's the name of the Native American tribe here?
Nanticoke.
Nanticoke. Thanks, hon. Nanticoke. Roger just reminded me. Their totem is the snapping turtle. So it's a powerful totem to the area. So a pleasure to get to be involved in this little guy's life. And then the last thing I'll share with you is drumming was last night, and I'm still on a high from that. Yeah. Takes you to a place of ecstasy, and that's where I stay. And I took, because there's a potluck for that, I took, what's it called? Jicama. I made a jicama salad, a new recipe for me. And this picture here will show you the ingredients, which are the jicama, of course, red onion. It was supposed to be oranges, clementines actually, which the store didn't have. Yucky fruit selection here. In fact, of the jicamas, I bought 4 of the 5 that were in the store. It's kind of pathetic. I've complained about this before. So it was the jicama, the red onion, the oranges. I used blood oranges, but it made it kind of pink, so probably wasn't the best choice, but of course they tasted just fine. Lime or lemon, and I did decide to go with the lime, even though I forgot to buy fresh limes. I went with the bottled lime that I always keep in the refrigerator, cilantro, sunflower seeds, and cranberries, dried cranberries, and honey, and olive oil. And I totally forgot. I was so bummed this morning when I saw the goat cheese, crumbled goat cheese I have in the refrigerator that was supposed to go in there too. Anyway, it did turn out good, regardless of that. So this picture is of the shredded jicama. The next time I will not make it like the recipe said, which is matchsticks. It took an hour and a half. Jicama is not easy to cut. Next time I'm going to treat it like I would coleslaw and chop it up in the food processor. And then this picture shows the cilantro and the red onion. And then the sunflower seeds and the cranberry. And this is the picture of the end result. It was a roaring success. There were a large number of women at drumming last night. They said it was the largest collection of women they'd ever had. I think there were about 20 of us, which might not seem like a lot until you imagine 20 people sitting in your living room drumming. It was awesome. But anyway, I took it in the pot to my crock pot because I made a lot. And I came back with maybe a serving. So it was a success. And I'm so glad the ladies enjoyed it. So let's see, I will end with a couple of pictures from Ernie and I's trip around the neighborhood yesterday to make them my tiny moments for the day. And please know, while you might not see me as regularly, I plan on keeping up these kinds of vlogs. I enjoy them, and I enjoy the conversations I have with you around them, where you get to share some of your life with me. It truly is a blessing to receive that. I look forward to it. I don't think I have to explain to any of you, or justify to any of you, my decisions around being online less as the seasons change and as some of my focuses and my personal devotions are coming into play. But please know I am not in any way absent from us because I'm on here less. Yesterday, when these videos were taken, and today were both really good days.